Hello, folks. It's me, I'm Biggy, and I am back. And I have a bit of a confession to make. And yeah, the reason I haven't been uploading videos recently, other than update videos, is because I've been spending too much of my free time surfing AI generating, art generating websites and ChatGPT. Yeah, I can explain. Okay, back when I was still streaming Unlimited Saga, me and the viewers were just talking, and we said, what if Unlimited Saga never got a re-release? Or more likely, it got a kind of remake that didn't satisfy what we wanted to have in a game, which is going to be a likely scenario as well. And one of the ideas that popped up was, fine, we'll make our own game, with blackjack and the other thing that comes along with blackjack that I can't say, otherwise I get demonetized. But yeah, I started going down the creativity rabbit hole, and before I knew it, I was watching videos of Timothy Kane. He's the dude that created Arcanum, one of my series that I've been playing, and right now on some sort of hiatus because I haven't continued playing that game. What else is there? Yeah, I watched some extra credit episodes, which is a YouTube channel that deals with mostly with extra history stuff, but they also have a pretty detailed series on game design as well. So those guys are pretty cool. And yeah, I took their advice and I created a wiki, which is pretty much very much on the deep end, very much off on the deep end of creating the game on the game design level now. But that being said, I guess, you know what? I guess I'll show you. I'll link you the wiki in the description and in the comments, and you can go and check it out for yourself. But here's what I've done so far. It's open for public viewing, but not for public editing, of course. And yeah, you can go and check on the website if you're interested in this kind of stuff. But yeah, I guess I'll just show you. And welcome to the 7th Realm wiki. Yeah. So 7th Realm is the placeholder for the name of the game that I'm creating, but I have no idea what it's going to be called in the end, though. But still, yeah, you could tell it took a lot of inspiration from various different games that I'm playing currently, or I've played so far. But there's this whole aspect of magic, technology, raw physical power, keeping the world in check, facing new ideologies that threaten that delicate balance. Yep. But yeah, it's a pretty on the nose thing that I created. But of course, like I said, this is going to be far from any sort of complete in the terms of what I have so far. But yeah, I've separated it into categories. The two main things that you could check out right now, first off, is the elemental weaknesses chart that I've come up with, and I'm pretty proud of myself because this is I detailed this already once in the live streams that I was doing. I came up with a system that were 6 elements, and the story begins. And the story begins after the emergence of the 7th element, which is the element of the word. And all of these elements were in kind of a balance, and they have major and minor weaknesses to each other. But I could spend some time explaining this, but you can go and read and figure it out yourself as well. But basic Pokemon-y stuff. And That's also one of the things, because we were discussing how we were dissatisfied. I was pretty dissatisfied with the magic system in Unlimited Saga, that the elements aren't actually supportive or showing weakness or anything related to each other at all. So, but yeah, that being said, that's the elemental weaknesses chart. Go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and comment in the video below. Otherwise, the one that is pretty much near completion as far as lore wise, and as much as I wanted to do in the story to set things up, is these guys, the Shuren. The Shuren are the game's wooden elemental people. So I said I created them and modeled them after tree folk and history of China, right? So you could see the definite Asian influence of their gear and everything. But yeah, this is I was particularly inspired by the art that the AI generated over here, which is pretty cool. As you can see here, it took me a while for me to create a picture where the art contained something faceless and headless, but still had some sort of semblance of kind of human form. But this also is pretty cool because, you know, there's that little person there for scale. And yeah, so I'll just summarize the article. Basically, they're a race of magical tree folk, very good at magic, and they weren't able to communicate with any other races because they didn't have eyes and ears. And if you know anything, for example, about Helen Keller, yeah, she lived in her own world, being blind and deaf, right? But he awoke to the world of language once her teacher created a miracle of signing the word water onto her hand after running her hand underwater for a lot of times. Yep. But basically, we talked about physiology a little bit. But yeah, basically, there's a pivotal character for the game that I'm creating called Saint Zara. She's going to be she's going to become the seventh wonder, or seventh. I can't use the word wonder really. Miracle, I guess, or of the ages. And basically, she traveled around the world, causing miracles, and at the end of her life became a saint, right? She caused a breakthrough in communication with the Shuren by using her musical background and communicated with them with a bunch of knocking or rhythmic tapping. So she gave them a way to communicate with the outside world as a very interesting miracle, right? And I also have this whole year thing on what AW means, but yeah, we will. I haven't done that yet, but they went ahead and created a whole golden age of exploration. Basically, it's a discovery of a whole new race, right? It's the equivalent of discovering aliens. So the people traveled towards the Shuren lands. Somebody wanted to be trained as translators who are skilled in music, able to communicate with the Shuren, and instead of being isolated, now they opened up their cities for trade. They have a lot of natural resources. They have a lot of rare herbs and enchanting artifacts. You know, that's the whole thing about how Britain became secondary to, well, not secondary, or pretty much having to give up all their silver for all that tea, right? And yeah, a golden age of exploration. I created so that the Shuren are actually able to, since they float, as they're made of wood, they become great sailors. So they become basically de facto life vests to their translators, who are actually living with them in symbiosis, which is pretty cool. But also, I recreated the whole history of the Opium Wars as well, which came as a result of how the trade was pretty much one-sided for the Chinese. The Chinese didn't take anything but silver, and I think the same over here as well. That the trade was being lopsided. The Shuren were actually getting it's very lucrative for them, but they fell into problems of piracy, and also already created a drug that's equivalent to opium in our story called Lumina. And like I said, creativity rabbit hole. I wrote about what Lumina is, and the Lumina elixir, and what it does, and how it actually started as a fungal mold species with bioluminescence, and how the Shuren were using it to keep up with the modernizing world because they can't function at night. So they were taking bits of this mold with them so that they could be able to naturally have the ability to function a little bit at night, because the mold glows, so they could photosynthesize a little bit. But then somebody extracted and created an elixir out of it, and after being consumed by the Shuren at night, they have a lot of increased vitality and resilience, heightened awareness, and it's like a super drug, wonder drug for them. But they also are able to glow a little bit themselves, and it became like a really big problem because back when it was just the mold, it was kind of controllable. But now that they've manufactured it into a drug, it became really, really lucrative for other species to produce it and then just send it to them and as fodders for trade. And it's like super addictive, right? But yeah, and also it all causes a social stigma, which didn't happen with the Shuren before, between their own communities. So, oh wow, like I said, it's a whole rabbit hole about how I came up with a whole series. Yeah, and this is just one out of the 7 that I have to do. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a wild ride for me if I actually do finish this main story of my series. But yeah, I hope you guys could understand where I've been for these couple of weeks. Oh my goodness, weeks. It's been weeks, isn't it? But yeah, that's at least if you're interested, you'll be able to get updated on the story and on how far I'm getting with my quote-unquote game. But yeah, also check this guy out. Isn't he cute? Isn't he sweet? Just give me a second. I also I'm trying to figure out different art styles for the game, and yeah, I'm trying to go with what's it called? Figurines. There's an interesting style that I might implement in the game as well, but we'll see. It's just early days yet about what I'm going to do about the game, but yeah. Anyways, folks, thanks for listening in. It's me. I'm Biggy, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. Bye for now.